To live is to let go. This is starting new. And I think this piece probably is the best way to get started in my whole trend and my whole push here. Um, so I first, to get started here, I'll tell why we're even on this trend story timeline. The TTTs. I have a thing with T's. It's okay. So first, I have been making a push and been trying to push my art, push my belief in myself and belief in my art, and belief in my mind, belief in the positive things that I can create and the things that I can do. A lot of my life, I have put my abilities or put my work towards things that I thought everybody said were tangible, or I don't know. Everyone always defined me as someone who helped people. And so I thought, oh, I have to do this route because I have to help people. I knew I could be creative. I knew I could make a difference. I knew I could talk to people the way they should be treated. But when you're young, there's a sense of naivety that you have that you don't know of. And I truly thought that I could go in and make a world of difference. I thought I could fight the system from within inside. But what I learned in the process was that, wow, there was so much that I actually had to unlearn myself and to teach the students. I was having aha moments for myself. And I was like a little uncomfortable when you're having those moments for you personally and you're supposed to be the teacher. You're supposed to be leading these others. And I'm up there learning things myself for the very first time. I loved what I did, don't get me wrong, but I lost every bit of my being. I was completely absorbed in being a teacher and completely absorbed with making sure that the students' lives came before my own. Even though on paper, sounds amazing, right? Like as a principal, wouldn't you somewhat want that? Someone who's always like, no, I'm looking out for these kids. Like I am. I'm going to make sure that they get what they deserve. In regards to learning about what options they have, someone giving them a chance to just share their voice because maybe someone at home doesn't let them share their voice. To get back to this, so this was one of the little art reveals that I posted, and I had someone graciously comment kind of what's my story with this piece. And I'll admit it was a little clumsy when I was flipping around, but she's massive if you haven't noticed. Like this used to go the whole length of like my bed almost. Well, not length, but you know, width. So I was in school first to be a speech and language pathologist. I did that because of conversations I had had with my mom and because I thought, what are my options? You know, what can I do? How could I, I don't know. I guess I really didn't give myself the chance to think about that far. I just knew I wanted to be happy. Someone who's depressed, I think that's really important to note that I just wanted to be happy. As a little kid, I always said to myself, when I'm old, I want to sell my art and I want to sell my work and I want to have a little shop where I have my photographs, where I have my paintings, where I have prints, where I have drawings, where I have jewelry I've made, and maybe other pieces of work, not just of my own, but maybe of my family's as well, because people in my family have talents as well. I've always said when I'm old. What does that mean when I'm old? And in my younger years, I imagined, I had to be 60 and retired because I thought, there's no other way, I'll be able to open a shop or do these things. Like it'll have to be just because I feel like it, past the time, not really worry about it, but why do I have to live that life? I'm way too young to, I don't know. I've done a lot of fear and a lot of holding myself back, a lot of self-doubt and a lot of no. So in college, somewhere through there, I decided to change my major to be a teacher because someone in my classes and I had conversations and I agreed with her. She wasn't wrong. So I decided to switch my major. Honestly, it was horrible. I did not have a good time. I almost ended my life. I'm not gonna lie. That's not something I am always comfortable or anybody's likes talking about, but unfortunately it's the truth. Once I got to a point where I was on the other side of like, well, obviously because I'm still here, on the other side of choosing life, because I was at a point where I was like, I'm only here because other people want me to be. I had felt choiceless. I felt was going through the motions. I wasn't making my own calls. I was doing what everybody, I don't know, I just wasn't active. I knew I wasn't being active. And it bugged me because younger me would have not have tolerated that. I wanted to have always choose, and that's a big thing of mine. So when I finally graduated, it was a huge moment. That was one of my biggest accomplishments, was getting to that finish line and doing it. You know, yes, it took me 5 years. Yes, a normal degree track takes 4, and I was an AP student, so it should have maybe taken me 3. But note that I was living on my own. I sometimes was working 3 different jobs to get by, and that still sometimes wasn't enough. And of course, I gained weight because all I was eating was Jimmy John's from the job I was working at, and soda, because soda's how you stay alive in that business, to stay functional. But I also have a soda addiction. Who doesn't love a Dr. Peppy? So, my graduation present to myself was to buy a large canvas. Never in my life, ever, have I been able to play around with a canvas of this magnitude. This is really important. This canvas, unpainted, was $80 for a broke college student or younger. $80 on a single material was not something I was comfortable with or could do. So when I graduated, I walked straight to the nearest Michael's and I bought this canvas. I'm so excited to get to work. And then I did what everybody does when they feel that they have to do something cool. I overthought it. I started judging myself and thinking, oh, well, I have this big canvas. I better use it appropriately. I better do something big with it. I don't know. And so I was kind of mad at myself. I was frustrated because this piece that was supposed to be a gift to myself ended up not being a gift. It ended up feeling like a little bit of like a curse. And I was so mad. And so then at one point, I just started splattering paint. I don't know if you can kind of see. Maybe you have, and maybe you've been like frustrated by the texture of this. Maybe you have, I don't know. But that's on purpose. This is on purpose. Yes and no. I, at one point, just got so frustrated, I just started splattering paint. I was like, you know what? We'll just make this a pretty splatter. Like, just a splatter of a ray. A splatter? That's the best you've got for this beautiful canvas, as a splatter? And so, I let it dry, and I just let it be. And I simmered on my graduation and my accomplishments and the belief in myself and what I came to do. And then I was listening to this Ice Nine Kills song, and to me, that was everything. And I was like, you know what? I know what I want to paint. I chose this teal on purpose because to me, it's a very calming, cool sense. Like, it brings natural peace to me. I know other people may disagree and say like blues and greens actually keep you more awake at night, whatever, fuck it, I don't know. In my case, blues and greens naturally calm me, so I went with this teal as the main background because I wanted a piece of subtlety. But I also did want you to still see the ridges because it's again in this message here. I need to read this more than I do. To live is to let go. It's honestly true. Because if you don't let go of the things that frustrate you, of the pain, you will not make it. And what's the point of being so correct? And this is my problem, right? I'm so focused on being correct and being right and seeing like, yeah, you did this. You hurt me. And I hold on to that because I feel like it gives me some sort of power because I've acknowledged that they did that to me, but they haven't. oh, like there's some sort of magical power. And in some ways I do have some magical powers. But it's this holding on. And so many things in my life have I held on to, mostly the past. And as we all know, you can't change the past. So every day is a chance to confirm who we want to be. Every day, every minute is a new opportunity to keep going. Can I change what I just said? No. I mean, I could cut it out of this video and you would maybe not ever know. But I can't change how I'm doing this right now. So to me, to live is to let go. And it's for me to also let go of the fact that I didn't need to do something magnificent on this big canvas. No, I don't have to do something like that. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And that is art. That's it. That is the story, but that is also the story of art. You have to let be what is. If you over-focus, you will mess up. You have to be in a free-flowing belief. It's inherent. It's something you have to feel through you, and you just have to know. It is a confidence, which is hard because balancing a confidence and a cocky is criticized a lot. But who are we to judge that right now, right? To wrap up my talks with Kat, my long, silly rant here, depending on how long you've actually maybe stayed and watched this video. But remember, to live is to let go. And if you haven't listened to that Ice Nine Kills song, you might need to, or maybe I'll add it here as it plays out, just so that way you know. It's very important to focus on that. But it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, or monologuing with you in reality, but I cannot wait to do this more in the future. I hope you are excited to hear more stories with me and the journey even with mental health. But here we are, and thank you for tuning in. To live is to let go.